Everyone. This is to welcome you to PTA 274, Anatomy and Pathophysiology for the PTA Part 2 in fall of 2025. So welcome to the fall quarter and the second half of pathophysiology. I am thrilled to be with you again this quarter to guide you through this crucial course in your PTA education. So why does this course matter? As you learned last quarter, in the first course in the sequence, you're not just students, you're already members of the healthcare community. And I would like you to think of yourself as a scholar practitioner or a scholar clinician. This course will bridge the gap for you between your foundational knowledge, your science knowledge, and the real world clinical practice. You'll develop the pathophysiology expertise that will make you a confident, competent PTA who can effectively support patient care and communicate with the healthcare team. So, your learning journey over the next few months will continue to explore how disease processes affect the human body across multiple systems. So, Module 1 is weeks 1 through 4. This is an incredibly important module, especially due to its emphasis on the board exam, the NPTE. So weeks 1 through 4, we're going to study respiratory, cardiovascular, and endocrine systems. So from pneumonia to heart failure to diabetes, you'll understand how these conditions impact your patients. And I tell you, many of our patients have pneumonia, heart failure, and diabetes, even if that's not what you're directly treating them for. Module 2 is weeks 5 and 7. We're going to cover mental health and cognitive disorders, very interesting area. So I always say nobody ever leaves their mental health disorder at home when they come into PT. So obviously we're not directly treating people for their mental health disorders, but we have to know how to handle behaviors and other things that occur with cognitive and mental health disorders. We're going to talk about genetic and developmental conditions. Of course, it's an area that I love. And oncology, which is another very interesting area. We need to address the whole person, not just their knee or whatever body part we might be working on. So mental health conditions and genetic disorders and cancer care can all affect their PT outcomes. Module 3, which is there are 3 modules total in this quarter, so it's weeks 8 through 11. We're going to talk about digestive, hepatic, renal, and reproductive systems. So this completes your systems knowledge for comprehensive patient care. What makes this course unique, for one thing, we're continuing with our free open education resource textbook. I think that this textbook really works for our program because it's written specifically for PTAs. And I hope that all of you liked it last quarter. I am loving this textbook. It's the first year we've used it. And I think it has exactly the information we need. And I like the layout of it. We're going to look at real world applications. We're going to keep looking at case studies. For every case study, every discussion will connect to situations that you'll encounter in clinical practice. We're not just memorizing facts, we're building clinical reasoning skills. So it's not just about checking boxes or facts about this or that or the other thing. We're really trying to develop clinical reasoning skills so we know how to deal with patients that have these different disorders. The other thing is we're preparing for our board exam. Our assessments mirror the NPTE PTA format, giving you confidence for your licensing exam. You don't want to not pass the licensing exam your first time and have to shell out another $600. So you want to pass that exam the first time. And a good percentage of the questions will come from pathophysiology. Success standards in this class. This is a demanding course with high standards because your future patients deserve nothing less. And the board exam holds you to those standards. So just like every other class, 74% is the minimum cumulative exam score. This is non-negotiable. In order to progress in the program, you have to maintain those standards. Of course, no late work is accepted. Professional healthcare demands punctuality. So make it so you can get your work in on time. Active participation is absolutely required. Your colleagues learn from your insights. So your classmates are your colleagues and they learn from your insights. So our grade is going to break down to 45% of your grade is going to come from two exams on module 1 and module 2. 45% of your grade is going to come from case studies, and your final exam, it's not really an exam, your final case studies are for module 3. So instead of having a written proctored exam like we've had before, you're going to have case studies, and that is going to be your final exam. And that's 45% of your grade. 10% of your grade is discussion board participation. So we're going to have discussion boards and other little tiny assignments in this class. So in terms of time commitment and learning expectations, plan for 8 to 10 hours per week for this class. And then the rest of your life will be devoted to your other class. I do try to balance out the workload so we don't have heavy weeks in both classes. We kind of seesaw between the two, kind of like we did this summer with 273 and 105. So hopefully it won't be too onerous, but you do have to spend a significant amount of time reading case studies, participating in discussions, and preparing for exams, as well as listening to those lectures. I'm sure your dogs and cats and family are all used to the sound of my voice by now. So you do have a lot of time commitment. As usual, each week runs Monday through Friday with assignments due the following Saturday. I'll open up the module the Saturday before we start it. You'll have textbook readings with learning objectives, just like usual. You'll have interactive case studies, discussion board participation, and practice activities. And those lectures that you have to listen to, I like to listen to them on a fast speed, but that's just me. Any lectures I listen to. So as usual, in every class, we expect professional behavior. Remember, you're scholar practitioners and healthcare professionals in training. You need to maintain confidentiality, treat classmates with respect, and demonstrate the integrity expected in clinical settings. In terms of technology, for Canvas, I want you to log into this class in Canvas at least once a week, if not more. I want you to interact with all the materials and assignments. And so all of the materials and assignments and communication happen through Canvas. So that's your baseline, and you should be, and I can see how much everybody's been on Canvas. I'll just tell you. And I can see who engages more and what things you spend time on. I'm not checking up on you, but just know you should be spending some time in Canvas. You need to have access to reliable internet and regular access to a laptop or desktop computer, as you know. If your laptop just died or something, you can check out a laptop from the IT department at Whatcom for the whole quarter to use. The other option, I had somebody was working on something for school and they dropped their laptop off the table accidentally and it broke. And they were able to get emergency funding to replace their laptop through the college. So that was pretty cool how that happened. For communication, of course, you can reach me anytime through the Canvas inbox and through my Whatcom email. When you send a message to the Canvas inbox, it automatically goes to my Whatcom email as well. And I can tell what class it came from. So that's kind of nice. Office hours are going to be on Wednesdays. If there's some time, like either you can't make it to office hours or you feel like you just need to talk to me about something, do not hesitate to reach out. We can always schedule some online time, one-on-one time, whatever you need. So don't hesitate to ask for help. Academic integrity, always a big thing. All your work that you submit should be your own. You can use AI to help you generate ideas, but never submit AI generated work as your own. Always cite AI assistance like any reference that you would use. And remember that AI can provide you with incorrect information. So check it, check what they tell you. If they refer you to a research article, make sure it really exists. And AI can be a good tool, but it can also limit your creativity and critical thinking development. And so you don't want to use it too much. You want to be able to think on your own because you can't use AI for lab practicals, that's for sure. And you can't use it for the board exam either. So we have a big support system for you, as you know. We have an early alert system. So if you're struggling, if I see that you're struggling with your grades, I'll reach out to you and try to come up with systems that are going to help you succeed. So we have a lot of support to give you, and if I don't reach out to you, you can reach out to me. And even if you're not struggling, you can always what some people write out the answers to the learning objectives and they send it to me and say, "Hey, give me some feedback." And I am always up for that. So if you need accommodations for any reason, contact the Access and Disability Services. Everybody at Whatcom is committed to your success, and don't ever forget that. The classroom is the place where you're going to help develop your professional identity. So as we go into this quarter, remember that mastering pathophysiology isn't just about passing exams. You are developing foundational knowledge that will help you recognize when patients' conditions are changing. It will enable effective communication with PTs and other healthcare professionals. It will build confidence in your clinical decision making, and it will ultimately improve patient outcomes. And that's what we really want. So, this course is challenging, but you're here because you've already demonstrated the ability to succeed. And I am committed to your growth both as students and as future healthcare professionals. So, what you want to do this week, if you haven't already bookmarked the textbook, do it. And you can start flipping through chapters 5 and 6. Review the syllabus. Some of the information is stuff you've heard before, but some of it's new for this class, including the schedule. Set up your study schedule. Plan out in your week when you are going to study and make it a hard appointment. So you make yourself do it. You can start reading chapter 5 on respiratory disorders. That's a good place to start because that's the chapter we're going to start in. Remember, you're not just learning about diseases, you're preparing to make a real difference in people's lives during their most vulnerable moments. And when a patient is really ill and has some of these diseases, you could be their shining light. You could make a real difference in their lives. So let's make this an outstanding quarter and use the Canvas inbox or catch me in email, however you want to do it. If you're on campus for any reason, just pop by the HPEC 101. That's my office. And if you need snacks or just want to say hi, you can always find me. And let's get started on this journey together. And I look forward to seeing you all in lab. It's going to be so fun.